Texts do have the capacity to represent anomalies in behavior and motivations, because they are able to portray the way people can imagine what a character could be feeling. Texts also have the ability to add different kinds of emotions as well, especially when it's a controversial text. Rainbow's End is a text that we have been studying in class, which allows the reader to understand the kinds of things that Aboriginal people had to go through back when they didn't have the same rights as they do now. The fact that this is a text that was written by a Caucasian woman also adds a bit of controversy to the text, because a lot of Aboriginal people who will be reading this text would not want to relate to it in the way they should, because they feel as though if a white person who is writing about their past would not settle well with them. Aboriginal people think that since it's their history, texts like Rainbow's End should be written by their people only. But once they find out that the author is a descendant of Aboriginal people, they would not care as much, because that means that she would have somewhat of an idea because of what she knows from her family. The text Rainbow's End had the capacity to represent the anomalies in behavior and motivations, mostly because the text was written as a play, and therefore the script would have to be able to give the actors a chance to express the words from the play with deep and meaningful emotions that really show the audience how they should be feeling at different points throughout the play. The text Rainbow's End also has a lot of pauses in the text to help show the actors when to pause for dramatic effect, etc. From what I had read, the text is about a girl named Dolly who lives with her nan, who is known as Nandi, and her mum, who is known as Gladys, in a poor Aboriginal area, and wants to provide for her family more than her parents or guardians did for her. And she does so by trying to go to university and also trying to get into high-paying jobs. She meets a guy named Errol, who is trying his best to sell his encyclopses, or encyclopedias, but somehow they end up falling for each other, and that's when the trouble starts to begin. She ends up going to a war with Errol, because she thinks that if Errol is this nice and accepting, then maybe everyone else will be as well. But then she finds out quickly that that is not the case. She ends up getting impregnated by one of her cousins who live on the bad part of town. They move to a new area named Rumballara, hoping to live and lead a new life. But somehow, their past still comes back to bite them. But the ending is a happy one, which is a good thing, because most of this text is really, really depressing and sad. My related text, that was chosen by me, is the text The Rabbits by Sean Tan and John Marsden. The reason for which I have chosen this text is because the text shows a lot about human emotions and behavior to many situations. Another reason I chose this text is because it has a lot of visual techniques in it as well. Not that that really has anything to do with the statement above. The Rabbit is about what the Aboriginals would have been feeling and experiencing during the time where the United Kingdom was colonizing Australia. But the text has the white Englishmen being portrayed as the rabbits who colonized Australia, and the Aboriginal people are portrayed as numbats, who know basically nothing about what is going on. There are many moments throughout this text that represent the anomalies in behavior and motivations. The rabbits, who are the Englishmen, have the motivation of adding more to the English Empire, so they are colonizing Australia. Whereas the rabbits have the motivation of protecting their families and also protecting their land from the rabbits. Sorry, I meant numbats.